Hey, it's Snapey again, another Paladins gameplay. I'm going with Makoa again because, as I mentioned in my previous video, when I first started playing this game, I played a lot of Makoa. And in fact, most of my games, I think maybe out of my first 15 or so casual games, with Makoa, I had won maybe all of them except maybe one or two games. And so that was pretty amazing. The fact that I didn't have to, you know, I never felt like I was discouraged because I was losing every game. And in fact, later down the road, though, I guess to balance it out, I probably didn't win a game for about 12 or 13 games. I think I just lost it. But it's interesting to see the matchmaking in this game because sometimes it feels like it's good, but the majority of the time it feels like it's not very good. And maybe that's just because when I was first starting out, everyone's kind of just a beginner. Who knows what? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of Smurf accounts. I'm sure there's a lot of other things. But it felt like some of the games, if you just had like certain champions, just because of the beginner nature of the game, like Ruckus, I think is really good in the beginning. And I don't know when I actually purchased him, but he was definitely ever since purchasing him, I really have enjoyed playing Ruckus. But this is about Makoa, so I want to get back to sort of Makoa. And so this is sort of at a time when I was still trying to get used to what his abilities were, playing aggressive, and it's one of those things where I'm sure maybe other people can feel this too, like basically after the first minute of the game, maybe even at the first 30 seconds, just based on the movement of the players, you can kind of tell how they're going to be, and it's not the fault the other players. It's because I know when I first started playing the game, before recording any of these videos, my movement was very stiff. I had played first-person shooters, and I sort of understood that, but I feel like Paladins, the more and more I'm playing it, the more and more I'm realizing a lot of the game is not just about aim, but it's also about movement, and it's about flanking, and not just straight up, you know, here's our front line versus your front line, let's just charge in. Because the way the maps are designed, there's a lot of different flanking routes, and so like right now, for example, I guess at this level, we don't really have to worry about flanking because they're just sort of marching out straight at us, and we're just sort of marching facing directly at them, and we're just firing away, and whoever wins, right? And we do have a healer, so it does help, but we also have multiple tanks, and I think just overall probably a little bit more experienced players from just what I'm seeing. But I definitely think that people get a sense of when you're like how good you are or how experienced you are, and it. So I guess I try to, if I'm in a game like that, I mean, it's nice to win, you know, definitely it's nice to win, but I feel like, you know, it doesn't help me as a player get better, and it's sort of always one of those passing games. Again, it's very nice to win because I've had losing streaks where I've lost I don't know how many games in a row, but it is nice to have a win every now and then, but also to be challenged and to really try new champions and to really push them to just see how you play when things aren't going so smoothly, because it's really hard to test out new things when you're just dominating them. But if it's an evenly close or evenly matched game, or you're actually losing, to be able to find ways over the course of the entire match to sort of overcome that deficit, it is nice and satisfying at times, I should say. Also at this time, I didn't have any real cards, so my loadout was pretty basic, and in fact I was just kind of understanding what the general cards were. I'm not sure exactly what you call them, but like Cauterize, Haven, things like that. I had never really looked into, oh, what am I supposed to do? What cards are supposed to be good for certain against certain champions? Because at this time when I was just starting, I didn't have a lot of the champions, so I didn't even know what they did. So the first time I seen a lot of them was playing against them. So, you know, champions like Sky, I never had experience with. Ruckus, I still didn't have. Bomb King. So a lot of these people I had never seen before, and it was just very interesting to encounter them and be like, oh, okay, so you can do that, that was really nice. One of the things I also appreciate about, as you can see here, I'm not really sure what I was thinking with the Ruckus. I guess I thought that there were more people around, or that my team would sort of converge all down into that point. I didn't know that he had his ultimate, which kind of screwed me over. I probably should have ran away. One of the things I need to work on is to realize that when Makoa has his ultimate, he's not like Ruckus, where he's stuck. Well, that was a pretty nice hook. But he actually can move, and he can hook, which is one of the things that I realized that he can actually do. So yeah, trying to aim here. Again, aim's not the greatest, but I think we get her eventually. No, not me. But yeah, that's okay. But it's just very interesting to learn more and more about these different champions and what they're capable of doing. I don't think that the ultimates are really that exciting. They're fun and they're good at certain times, but I really like the special abilities that make them, you know, unique. Things like this with Pip, like that is pretty interesting, and it's unfortunate because he could have taken me out, but there was no real team support. But I really like the fact that I'm just gonna call them special abilities. They're just regular abilities. They're so unique and strong that it makes this game enjoyable to play. You know, I love the hook. I love the shield from Makoa. And then for some of the other champions, I especially like movement, and that's one of the things I'm going to be working on. One of my plans for this channel is to eventually, although I definitely have certain favorites on champions, and I play them when I'm just, you know, having a good time or just want to try and play a decent game without, you know, being a burden on my team. But one of the things I do want to try to incorporate on this channel is to really spend some time, maybe 1 or I don't know if 2 weeks, but depends on my schedule, I guess. But really, at least 1 solid week of just playing one champion, so I can understand the champion's strengths and weaknesses, particularly the flank champions, because their movement is so unique, and it takes some getting used to. Especially, you know, because my experience has been pretty much Makoa, Ruckus, Grover. Those are the champions that I'm pretty much have turned to because they're pretty straightforward. But I can see the strength in the flank characters, especially characters like Eevee and Droxus, Sky. I think those characters are fun. I just don't know how to unlock that fun and to really explore their movement and their abilities. So that's one of the things I'd like to do is later down the road maybe spend 1 whole week on each champion and just kind of talk about my thoughts on how it is to actually play that champion, because if not, I'm just probably going to end up playing the same one. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.